of hearing me, please come into the Discord. If you are having issues at all, I know there's been some red circles within OBS still, even streaming at this kind of low quality. And hopefully it doesn't look, that bad or that terrible, at all. Hopefully it doesn't look like that in 480p. And another thing you might be wondering, where's the scripture? You usually have scripture. Well, today I wanted to go over, for some of y'all that haven't been noticing or haven't been listening in, I wanted to go over the good, the bad, the ugly, the past, the present, and the future of this online ministry, like the very, very beginnings. What led up. We're going to go back to what led up to this ministry and how the ministry's been doing with everything that's been going for. And then looking at it now, and then we're going to look at it into the future, look into the glimpse of what God has in store for this online ministry for the year 2022 and beyond that. So let's go with the very, very beginning, the humble beginnings. God has reached out to me, a person telling me that, to do ministry. And this was when I was going to college and all this stuff, and I wanted to be a history teacher. And then I was like, no. I didn't feel qualified. I didn't feel equipped or like any of that. I was like, there's no way. Me? Like, no, 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 no. I would never see that in a billion years, Lord. Like, that can't happen. Get someone else that knows what they're doing. Like, get one of them to know that what they're doing, what they're going through, and get one of them. I don't want you to use me in that way. I want to be a history teacher. That's the road that I wanted to be on. Because I like the idea of teaching. And over time, after all that, I didn't know how to do this ministry at first. I didn't know in what direction. I was like, okay. Then I started talking to people. I'd be like, hey. They're like, yeah, Hollian? I'd be like, do you see me as a ministry leader? And they're like, I mean, I can see it. I sound like you must be pulling my leg. You gotta be yanking my elbow. There's no way. No way. Me? You see that? You see that I can teach the Bible and all that stuff? And it sounds like, yeah, me. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. No, there's no way. There's no way. There is no way. And I started asking more people, hey, I started to get opinions from people. Be like, hey, do you see me as this? And they're like, yeah, I can see. I'm like, I was like, how? Then I was like, okay, then God told me this, and I don't know how to do it. So I'm like, well, you can do it online. There's a platform, Discord. There's a bunch of Christian servers. I was like, okay. I mean, I do like me some Discord, and I liked Discord at the time. I was in several gaming servers at that time. So many when I'm not in right now because I keep missing and all that stuff. Um, yeah, that's a true statement, Willie. But I like the platform, and I was like, how is that going to work? I was like thinking, how's that going to work? And I was like, at that time, I was like, I don't even know where to start of a Discord server. Like, I don't even know where to start or what to do or anything. At that time, I was like, I don't know how to start this thing. I don't know what I'm doing here. And all of a sudden, people's like, hey, I know how to do bots. And I'm like, okay. I don't know what that means, but okay. At that time, that's how it was. I was like, okay, bots. Okay, okay. Saying like, yeah, you can. I was like, you need staff to help you out. And I was like, yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing here. And it's like, what got your back? So the Discord started to work up. We had a group of people that is no longer with us. anymore, unfortunately. Which is why I said the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, going into everything that this ministry has been through and all that stuff. So we called it. It was called the very first thing, the first name. It went from name to name too. So keep this in mind. The first time was called Providence Group Chapel, PGC. You know, like because their movie ratings PG, PG-13, and then I was like PGC. You know, that's when it was first there, and we had so many people coming in into all this, and it was going good. It was starting up good. We had people that's coming on the staff, people that's joining teams. The server was like extremely active than it is now, like very extremely active. You see people posted almost all the time. It was like mind blowing. It really, really was, and I enjoyed that. And then we started to have a bot within our server, which we do not have anymore, mind you. We had a bot called Discord bot. And you're probably thinking, oh boy, bots. What does that do, Hylian? Well, the Discord bot actually promotes your server on discord.com. You know, and you can add the tags and stuff like that on there. And that's how we were able to, that was kind of our outreach at that time, at that point of time, you know. So, while we were using it to get more people, to meet more people, I was meeting so many people and also dealing with trolls that would like to spam, you know. We had people that came in spamming cuss words, spamming porn pics, and all that nasty, ugly stuff. You know, and we would have mods to address them saying shoot. It'd be like shoot fly, shoot, 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 shoot fly. So, the internet's really bad, so if you want to come to Discord, just letting you know. Anyway, and then we started to meet with people that's part of an LGBT community. For some of y'all that may be unaware of what that community is, it's basically for gay, lesbians, trans, lesbian, gay, LGBT, B, I don't know, bisexual, T, trans, Q, I don't know. I don't remember all the names of what the whole LGBTQ stands for, but it's basically for that. So they came in, hopped in the server, and then and they were like, "Well, you're a Christian. You're supposed to love us, right? Why are you bashing against us?" And I was like, "Oh no!" And this is when it started to. This was the start of going like a bit downhill from here. Um, it really got to me and affected me as a leader, as I'm still am a leader. You know, still am looking at it right now, and probably in the future, I'm still the leader of this online ministry. All right, I'm still am the leader of it. So it really affected me. It really hurt me, and they started calling all this, and then one of my mods started to step in that situation and start saying stuff, and I was like, oh no, and I was just sitting there reading, and I was like, oh no, this is gonna start a whole debate drama. Oh no, no, and then it made me erase the server. I went in after reading the whole conversation. I decided to, in the heat of the moment, to delete the server, and I felt bad. I felt extremely bad. I was like, well, uh, and people were a little bit mad at me, saying like, why did you delete the server? And I was like, because of these people, it was just getting to me. And then all of a sudden, people started seeing me not as a ministry leader. They started seeing me as a weak link in ministry, as some people would still see it right now. They would consider highly, and you're the weak link. That is so weak of a leader. You're supposed to be strong during the midst of that. Why did you go and delete? Because I did. So, rebooting the server back up the second time. There's been a lot of rebooting and revamping over the years, so I may not get to every single time it reboot or revamp. I might not be able to remember all of that, but I'll try my best. But we decided to call it the name you see it on Twitch, the New Light. Someone actually custom designed that. Not like you can hardly usually when I do stuff, I usually Google image and do that. Someone actually, when you look at Twitch, when you look at that new light icon, someone actually put time and effort to make that. And she is no longer part of us. She left. She doesn't want to come back. She used to be on staff and used to be a coordinator. You know, she would be close to me, so would her boyfriend. That couple really wanted to work in the server and the ministry. And I really appreciate that couple, for the times I was able to meet them, greet them and all that stuff. So here comes the new light, and then me and this mod, and this is going to be one of the famous names that's going to be written in the history of this online ministry. He goes by Coco. This is the individual that says that I am weak and I wasn't strong enough. And then every time that I would see something down in the server, which I kind of do still at this point, like I would see something and it would extremely get to me. Like, oh, there's no activities today. It would just really get to me and really go down on me to the point where it was just getting too much. And me and him would have conversations. With me and this Coco dude would have so many conversations. We would sit there and talk, saying like, "Hylian, you know, I see your potential. I see all this, but as of right now, you can't be a leader." You know, and then when I started to see this over time within the Discord server, um, before we went, I think we started on doing Twitch and Discord as well after the merge. The merge process, which I'm going to bring up, he decides to say like, "Hey, I have a community over here. So if you, and I think this is good for you. I think this would really help you, really benefit you, and really help you as a leader to grow. But not only you, but the people within the ministry and the ministry to grow as well under my leadership." You know, Coco was like, "You just need more lessons, you need more teaching in order to be a qualified leader." And at first it didn't sound bad, and he was the person that I would talk to almost all the time. Like, there would be times that I would be sitting in VC, and you would just hear him in Subway. And the things that I would say to him, saying like, "Hey, Coco, did you know Subway pizza is the best thing on this planet?" He was like, "Get that out of here." He literally said that. He was like, "Get that out of here." I was like, "What? It's Subway pizza." He was like, "If I wanted a Pizza Highland, I would have gone to Pizza Hut." Okay. I was like, "But you're here at Subway." Like, there would be times where me and him would be joking and all that kind of stuff. Listen to him at PC. Like, I will always miss the dude and remember him the dude. You know, me and him would have so much fun in our conversations that me and him would have. Like, there would be so many conversations that me and him would explicitly have. And and at that time I was like, I didn't know what the merge, and we asked the community, we gave a poll out to the community at that point asking them, do you want to merge? Coco think it's the best idea. And then I kind of went for it. And this is when I started to notice that this was the biggest and ultimately downfall of this server, of this ministry. And you're probably like, Highly, you were just talking good about the dude. And I was like, yeah, I was. But we also had a rough communication between the two. So after the merge, people started to leave. People started to question Coco, question his understanding of the Bible, of God's Word. Some people are starting to question him. Like, where does this come from, Coco? I don't think I can really understand this or grasp this. I'm gonna actually type this because it's been read. Just give me a minute. The internet has not been doing good for me tonight, like whatsoever, and I don't know why. It's like completely random, and I'm at the lowest quality, and it's still buffering like crazy. I don't know why. It's been in the red ever since after the music. You would think that it would probably calm down after the music, but nah. It's still doing its thing, so if you are having trouble with listening to me and hearing me, please come into the Discord server. If you're having trouble, there are two options available. Yeah, AMD streaming. The internet just isn't want to work with me tonight. Unfortunately, don't know why. I really have no idea whatsoever, but the internet just doesn't want to work with me. But if it helps you and anyone that's here, come into the Discord server if it does help you out. Anyway, back to the story. I just want to say that because I know that I could be buffering, and AMD streamer mentioned, hey, you're buffering a lot. And this is 480p. This is, if I go any lower, then you really can't really see me that much. And it's going to look like butt on YouTube. So, but back to the story. People were questioning Coco. You know, we were getting along, me and him. We were getting along. And then questions started to arise. Be like, you're calling us a lowercase g god? Hylian, I don't know if you should trust Coco. He's saying all these weird things. And I was like, I mean, I don't know. He said there are people before Adam and Eve. And I was like, at that point, I really didn't know. I was still, and I'm still am learning. I'm still am growing in the word, and I always want to look. A thing as me, I always want to look at two sides. I want to be able to look at your side. Where are you coming at when you're reading the Bible, when you're studying it? See from your point of view. You know, and we would have several arguments about it, me and Coco. And I was like, there's some things that I can't agree on. Then he was like, you'll never be a ministry leader. Because he was like, what I am speaking highly of is the truth. And still, even still to this day, I still don't know if I can fully believe that. Him being, like, calling me a lowercase g, like a lowercase g God. Saying that it says in the Bible. But at that, and then still, I don't know if he's misinterpreted because he did pull out scripture. The thing is, he pulled scripture. He went in depth depth that I probably can't go in because I don't remember every scripture that he used. You know, and then here comes the biggest argument of all. I didn't. There was one night I didn't know what I wanted to teach on. You know, I didn't know what to preach on at all. Man, this Twitch is doing really, really bad. Like, it's at 1,000 bit rate and still it's doing terrible. I don't know why. But anyway, I was like asking him, "Hey, Coco." He was like, "Yes, Hylian. Um, I want to see you teach. You know, I want to see what people think of your teaching skills because I was getting all of this, and I want them to ask Coco questions since he's the one saying it, and I really can't answer on Coco's behalf because I'm like, I don't know. I'd be like, is there people before Adam and Eve? I'll be like, I don't know. That's what Coco was saying. I don't, I was like, I don't know at that point. And then here comes the the fight between me and him, and it was over worship music. Worship music. I told him I had the music picked out. I just want to hear what you have to say. Or you have the music in, and he was like, "Well, I have the music in." I was like, "Well, I feel like God wants me to use this music," and then he was like, "God wanted me to use this music," and we started to argue and fight over music. This was between me and Coco. This was our friendship. We started fighting, and then it was really getting to me, saying like, "Then I'm not going to host this." And it's not like I will teach with or without you, Hylian. And it really hurt me. The way that he said that, that really hurted me. It really got to me to the point where I left and he started teaching. And then I was thinking of merging. I was thinking I should have never merged with this dude. I should have never merged with this dude. And then I started talking to people saying like he's saying that I'm wrong when I felt like we were both wrong. You know, that's what he was doing. He was like, you know, you're wrong, I'm right. And I was like, but we were going arguing about music. And he was like, God was telling me this when you don't want to do it the way God intended it to do. So it's on you, Hylian. And still looking back to that, I still feel like it was both our ends because we were fighting and arguing over music, and that shouldn't be the case. And shouldn't point out fingers who's wrong and who's right either. You know, I felt like I was wrong because I was fighting and he was fighting. And then after that whole fight, after talking to people, I was like, we're gonna emerge because a lot of people disagree with Coco. A lot of people started to disagree with what he is saying and what he is teaching. Even though he said that he's phenomenal and all this stuff, saying that people are asking questions, cool for him. But every time I mention ministry or religion or Christianity, it feels like we can't see eye to eye. It just felt literally impossible. And this was the biggest and ultimate downfall of this ministry. It was the biggest just going down into the ground because of that. And then Coco said this. He said this, and this is the thing that I will not forget. And this was kind of the last words he said. Hylian, if you do this, you are doomed. You are going to fail as a ministry leader and fail the people that you are ministering to. If you do this, if you do not take under my wing, Hylian, then I can no longer be with you. And that kind of hurt me as well because I did enjoy Coco. Even though that fight, even though that argument, I still enjoyed my friendship with him. There were times we were joking. There was a lot of times I would say Among Us is gay. And it was like, Hylian. I'm like, what? I'm just speaking the truth, and the truth will set me free. And look, I am free as a bird. Like there would be funny things that we would say, you know, and all that stuff. So I will always remember the dude and always cherish the dude. But when it comes into ministry stuff, we just can't we just can't see it. And this is when I started streaming. Like I said before all that, we did everything in the Discord. Everything, the Bible studies, the music, everything was in Discord. We have never streamed it. It never went live. It was always in the Discord. For people that wanted to come to Discord, the reason that I switched because I feel like this would have been better. To be able to reach to people, being able to get to people. And I feel like this will be a better way instead of dealing with Discord bot, which you don't see anymore. I got rid of it because there were so many trolls, and I'm not online 24/7, and I don't have much staff either, so it's like, you know, eh. So it came we decided to unmerge, and as soon because people were all for it, we had so many people building the hype ups and like, yeah, Hylian, yeah, this is what should have happened. We should have never merged, and I still agree to that point. We should have never merged. That was the biggest mistake this ministry ever done. But when we launched a new server, and it was supposed to be under Spiritual Squadron, under a different name. Because we were trying to create names, we were trying to create unique names, and here we go. And then, as soon as the server opened up, people started to leave. I started getting requests of being called a false prophet. I started to get everything onto me, and people started to leave. Like I said, that we're going over the good, the bad, and the ugly. So we're slowly getting there. It was just a very rough for the ministry as a whole. People were leaving, saying like, "Yeah, Holly, we just, after all this, we don't know if we can be with you anymore. The stuff that you're teaching, some people will agree with Coco and stay with Coco. You know, that's why some people are not here. They agree, saying like, yeah, there were people before Adam and Eve. Yeah, you are a lowercase g God. You know, those are all truth. You know, and those are the two things that I remember Coco, doing a lot that I can't fully agree on. And I still haven't looked up entirely to be able to like not argue or debate, but just to say why I disagree because it just to me it still doesn't feel right. I don't want to be called a lowercase g god. I don't. It's like it makes it feel like an idol. When you worship false gods, that's the way that I was kind of interpreting it and putting it. Keep that in mind. That's the way that was my eyes looking at it. So people started to leave, and then I started to have no staff. I started to have no one. It felt like everyone left me after that journey, and it felt like a journey's end. It felt like this is it. This is over. There's no way that I can continue doing this. And God said, yes, you can. And I was down in the dumps. People that was there for me just ended up leaving, and still looking back today, don't even see those people anymore. Don't even have communication with those people anymore. I used to have someone in the VC that would sit there and come in and scream, teeny sore. I will never forget her. She was just she's so little and so young, but she was like so hyper. She was like teeny hi, and all that stuff. It's like a cheerful. girl, and I think she's probably 14 or 15, but she would do that all the time. Not only in this my server, but in other servers that I was in too. Just come in, all of a sudden she pops in, teen, like at the top of her lungs. The people like that, I'm never gonna forget. The moments that I had with these people. That honestly helped out. They used to be here. Overkill. Some people still to this day may have talked to him, may have heard his voice. He was there with me for a very long time and still in the server at the very least, but not even active. Like I said, I had a lot of people that came and go. And to me, it's sad. So, I, when we got back into the server, I started to pray and be like, God, I don't know if I can do this. And I was still in college, still on campus, and I was asking other people, of Christian organizations, on campus, you know, I was asking them, saying like, hey, I don't know if I can continue doing this because of, Coco. I just can't seem to do this. You know, it just doesn't seem like a thing. It just, you know, and it's like, well, if you feel like God is wanting you to do it, then do it. And I was like, I do, but it's just so difficult. And I keep remembering all the sermons that I did. God didn't make life easy. He doesn't. He always puts us through stuff in it. And this was just a hard time for me as a leader going, how do I go through this? How do I put up with this? Essentially. And over time, started doing Twitch and started to meet people and started to do more outreach. Met the girl of my dreams, Willie Chick. I don't know if she's still here because internet issues have been so good tonight. I don't know why it has to be tonight. It's probably still buffering like crazy, and there's nothing really I can do. There's really nothing much I can really do. I don't know why it was doing great when I was doing Phasmophobia, and then now it was like, no. It just feels like every time I do a service, it's always crap. So, but that's what happened over time. I started to meet people that's here. Finally had someone that's on podcast, AMD streaming. Finally had another person that will voice their opinion. Not only my opinion. You know, and had someone on my back, then started to meet new people. You know, and this was also where I didn't feel like I belonged with Christians anymore because I would always get judged, pointing fingers at all the time, and still get Christian threats. It feels like all the time. So I'm still here doing this. This is where it comes up to today, to the present. We're now in the present. You know, looking back on the history, there was some rough spots, there was some good spots. It wasn't all bad. It was just like we're still going through a season. In every ministry, in every church, will always have a season that they are going through. You know, there's no church or ministry that is perfect. It's just not in the books. You know, but yeah, I had so many people. Then had my brother, Headshot, as some of y'all may know, entered in and started to, show his support a little bit here and there. I don't know how much he will listen. I don't know, if he's doing anything on the internet to mess me up. I don't know that either. But I'm not going to shift blame and do all that crap. But, that was kind of shocked of me when I saw him, and heard him. I was like, is this you? That was shocked. A fan, like one of my family members, actually came in and wanted to see this ministry. And to me, I felt like that was impossible. I really did. So we did have some good things. Like I said, that was a good thing. Our game cons that we started last year, and still we have people coming to them and attending to them. You know, we started that last year. We used to have small groups. That's also started, I believe, probably last year, or maybe a year before that. It might have. You know, all these things, and that we're still keep on moving, and that we're still growing, and that we're going strong. I'm not doing anything to mess you up. Oh, okay, you're here. Well, I don't know, Series of Once. It's doing really bad and buffer a lot. You might want to come to the Discord to hear me. I know AMD streaming is there, so if you really can't hear me, and if it's really buffering a lot, because there's really not much I can do. Like it's 480p, 1000 bit rate, and it's still terrible. So but but yeah. So now we're looking at the future. Now we're gonna glimpse into the future. Like now we are here. What is it for the future? And some of y'all may not remember that I did a vision of 2022. I could show the video. I wanted to show the video, but y'all ain't gonna see it since it buffers so much. So it's like, what's the point? um, but what I talked about was what are we looking at to move forward? What does God wants us to do? And God has blessed me with this vision that He had in mind. Be like, here, this is what wants to come. You know, you know, and these are the things that I'm going to list again. I'm going to say them again. Of this year of 2022. First thing that we did in the start of this year is that we did a prayer and fasting. We want to make sure this is where what God wants us to do and where God wants us to be at. So we want to make sure to go in deep into prayer, into connection, making sure this is what He wants and this is what He established. That's the first thing that we did this year. We wanted to go in and be able to pray, being able to say, okay, God, this is what you have. Let your will be done. And then that was the start of this year. And then we had our winter game con, our second year of doing our game cons. At first, it used to be called Winter Bash. That's what it's named, and then I changed it to GameCon. So we did that, and we had people that showed up. And we met people. We had so many people that came in. Yeah, I don't know what happened to the internet. I don't know who's doing what. Serious one, but if you have problems, like I said, I'm gonna send a message. If you can't hear me or anything like that, this is what I said. And then here is the Discord link, just in case. I know you're in there, but this is just in case for anybody that is trying to listen in. Because it's just doing bad right now. So we did our Windsor Game Con. It felt like phenomenal. We had so many people that came in. listen to the theme Service of Humility. And the reason that I wanted to do humility at the start of this year because I feel like as Christians, as us as human beings, don't have that quality when we should have that quality. We should be able to have that quality. And then that's what I did within that theme of Winter GameCon. Yeah, we didn't have the tournament. Like, yeah, we didn't have the D&D. But we still enjoy time playing marbles on screen, Jackbox and all that stuff. So we did have that as the very, very, very well. But there are things that I wanted to do, and that wasn't it. Practice generosity. The thing with some of y'all that may hear me in the announcements when I talk about my partnership, when I go into it, as we're supposed to be contributors and not consumers. We're not just here to give, 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 take, 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 and that's it. We're here to help others to serve others. That is what we are here to do. We are here to help them, to build them up. And I want us to practice that. That's why I went into humility because that is part of it. If you have love, then you're supposed to have humility. You can't have love without humility. You can't have humility without love. It's just extremely impossible. So we wanted to start doing that a bit more this year, which we're still going to. Another thing that we're going to be start doing is a growth path track. And what this basically is to help you discover your purpose in life, what God wants you to do. And we're going to be having that I don't know how soon, but it is going to be soon. We still have it, for this year because we want to help people to discover their purpose and to be able to help them to impact the world around us. Also, we want it to be another thing is that we want to be more examples as leaders. Be an example as a godly person. Because it does say be actions speak louder than words, and also there's scripture saying that we must be doers and not just hearers of God's word. You know, so we always want to be a godly example, no matter what is happening. Even the internet, the devil wants to attack it. Cool, and people don't want to hear, you know, about the ministry and stuff like that. Cool, that's on the internet. Another thing that we plan on doing is that I wanted to have another setup. We did finally start putting verses on the screen. Usually, when I started streaming sermons and stuff like that, it would just be my face and I'll be reading scripture. I wouldn't have scripture on screen or any of that. It would just be me. And it does kind of help for people that don't have the Bible, but at the same time, people, with a boring bedroom or a basic bedroom like mine, you know, that's another thing that I want to do because you see other people that has like a table with like gaming figures on it, and stuff like that, and just have a camera being able to talk at a table and you get to actually see the table at like a distance. That was another thing, to have a background to say, like, hey, we're a gamer, you're a gamer too. That's why I at least have boxes right there when you can see it on the screen, even though it's buffering, you could probably at least still see it, even though it's probably still buffering. You know, and another thing is that we're still looking forward to this year is a new name, new fonts, and graphics. It's supposed to look different, that we're no longer going to be the New Light Ministry. That is not going to be us anymore. It came, it went, it had a season, and it's gone. Even though it's still called that on the Twitch, on the platform, you see it's called New Light Ministry. You see that. But when you come into Discord, for some people that's aware of Discord, it's called Christian Gamers Ministry. And this is the direction that God wants, to take is to be able to reach for gamers out there, to reach them, to meet them where they are at, and tell them about the good news, the gospel. So that is one thing that we want to do, and we're still doing that. We're still making sure of that. New staff team. We got people on team like AMD streaming. And I've been posting announcements over announcements saying, come on, people, I, I, I really need help because running a ministry isn't just teaching. It isn't just doing this what I'm doing. It's not just events. And some people would like to think that. It's really, really not. There's a lot of effort, a lot of work to be able to put in for this online ministry. Ministry work is never easy, but you can always have staff to help you out, and I'm still looking for that. For people that wants to come down and step down out of their comfort zone, be like, hey, Hylian, I'm willing to help you. So another thing that we are achieving as of right now is to change the way we behave in the culture within the Discord server. Because back then when it first started, it felt like we didn't accept anybody that came into the server. I had a kind of a strict mod, someone on mod, and if an LGBT came in, they were banned on spot. Just because they had a pride flag on their status within Discord. And that's not really accepting them for who they are. When Jesus said, come as you are, he didn't say, oh, you have to wait until you're Christian to meet me. He didn't like, oh, you have to wait until you're saved. And so far, we are doing that within the ministry. We want to be able to accept anyone. And whoever, starts to judge or point fingers, when any of that happens, I am eyes and ears. And people will let me know. Because that is not tolerable at all, period. God doesn't want to judge, and neither should I. God doesn't want us to judge, neither do I. So, with that being said, we are doing that. We are changing the way we are doing that. Another thing that we want to be able to do, which I don't know if it's going to be possible as of right now, but another thing that we set up and want to do is to be able to do some in real life service and meetup. Tell people saying like, hey, we have this awesome ministry, it's online and all that stuff. Because like I said, I used to go to college, you know, and when I was there, I would be like, oh, you know, I'll be seeing this and that and be labeled like, oh, cool, okay, cool. And they were setting up tables and a booth, being able to say, hey, this is our campus ministry. This is where we're at. Oh, hey, look, I'm finally in the green. I don't know how long that's going to be. Stay within the Discord if you're in the Discord, because I don't know how long that will last. I don't know how long that will last. Because I don't know what's going on with the internet. I don't know what's doing. So, just don't know. Anyway, we want to be able to do that, to have tables set up and be able to travel, be like, hey, and also do it in real life service at like a church. Be able to say, hey, I will be evangelizing for today. Y'all have an awesome pastor and stuff like that. And that comes up with another thing is house party / house church. This is something that I used to go to on campus as well. I used to, went to house church. People will say it'll be at a house. There'll be food. There'll be worship, and there will be a Bible study at some people's house. It is a great way to fellowship a person, and I would like to do that here. If you have a family, and for people that have families, or people that's in like I don't know another state or something, like Mac is, whatever person. How come I'm in a green now? I hate this internet. I hate this internet. This internet is so random. I hate it. I hate it. It's so random. It's like it's good. It was good for Phasmophobia. Now it's I don't know anymore. Right now
It
it's in
could
the
have
green.
very well been me. I had my PS4 on. My bad. I
Could
didn't
have been
realize
you.
it was
I
doing
don't
that.
I don't know. All I know is that the internet is extremely random, and sometimes I can't do nothing about it. But with that being said, house parties, house church for people that have families and be able to do it in the living room, to have a big TV screen and have this on their screen, this yet that y'all watching, to have this on their screen, to be able to watch on their screens. I lost my attention for a minute. And to be able to hang out afterwards, like pull up a Switch, play Mario Kart, with each other in the room. Especially a person that doesn't have a Switch, they can be able to play and enjoy that real life connection. And another thing that we're doing and still doing as of right now that's improving and that we are revamping and starting up is our groups. Now, some of y'all that may have been in a small group for a time bit, and I stopped posting it because it was just too much, and I would want to have someone that can lead the group and do it when I didn't have one. So we are still revamping that. We're still in that process. Like I said, this is one of our visions for this year. We're going over the vision. So that is still our process. Is that we're trying to get people in the groups. I've been, making announcements as well, saying like, hey, if you want to be part of these groups, I've been even saying an announcement. Just DM me or whisper me, your gender and your age, so we can start doing these groups. Right now, we can start setting times and days, and hopefully, if you're already in those groups, hopefully you can vote, and hopefully, we'll counteract with whatever is happening within the ministry. I'm still in the green zone. I haven't been in a red zone yet. All of a sudden, I'm in the green. Okay. I'm looking at that and keep thinking it's going to go red at any minute. Because that to me, I feel like that's false. After what the internet's been doing to me for over an hour, I can't believe that. It's hard for me to believe something like that. And then also our game cons. Originally the way that I started up, it was supposed to be 4 game cons a year, 4 of the seasons, and then I started to realize that could be a little bit too much. I started to realize I feel like that could be probably a bit too much to do. Is the way I'm feeling it and the way that I'm seeing it. Is that I just feel like it could be too much. So I dumbed it down to two, one in the winter and one in the summer. Last year was our very first time hosting it. You know, we hosted a winter game con and a summer game con, and both of them were online. Keep that in mind. Both of them were online. And what is game cons? Well, they're basically kind of like if you've never been to a retreat, like on campus, when they did one like in the winter, in the spring, and sometimes maybe in the summer, for retreats when you're going to college, you know, and they offer you saying like, hey, during spring break we're gonna be going over here, and you're like, cool, out in the middle of nowhere with no technology, which is the terrible thing on this whole entire planet. Um, I'm a technology person, but you know, that's what essentially is, and it's kind of like cons. If you ever been to one, like, Comic Con, Twitch Con, Mind Cons, so that's where that idea started to, begin. And then for us to improve, because we always want to improve our game talks, and I did a feedback because I want people to feel like they're a part of it and not just watching it. I definitely don't want anyone to feel like that. I want people to feel like they can participate in it. Like, oh, you're playing Mario Kart? Oh, I have a Switch to play. Or like earlier today, oh, you're playing Phasmophobia? I have Phasmophobia too. Let's play. You know, stuff like that. And then the way that I'm thinking of is doing summer game con in person. Yes, I did say in person. And I try to get a hold of someone that looks over churches in this parish that I'm in another parish. He looks over two parishes of all the Baptist church within that parish, within these both parishes. And that is Lincoln and Union parishes. And I started to say like, hey, I would like to do this in person. I was even talking to him, saying like, hey, this would be really cool if we can get the youth to be involved with that church and so forth. And someone was like, yeah, that sounds pretty awesome. Yeah, that sounds pretty dope. And right now it doesn't look like we might be able to do it online this year. Moving forward. Still doesn't mean that it can't be in person. You know, things can still happen. Like I said, God provided us a vision. You know, these are things that He wanted to do within this online ministry to be able to improve and keep on moving forward. Like I said, one, we want to be able to focus on content, focus on what we're doing, like on streams. When the internet is all of a sudden doing good to me out of nowhere after it's been in the red for a single hour. But we want to be able to focus on content. Oh, there's the red. See, I knew it. See, I knew it. I knew it. See, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew I couldn't trust that green. I knew I couldn't trust that with an OBS. I knew it had to go to red. I knew it. Tell me it's green. We want to be able to improve on the production when we have good internet. Oh, we're in the green now. Whoopie doopie doo. So we want to be able to improve on the production and make it not look like 480p, which looks like complete butt cheeks. Hopefully it won't look bad. I am recording this, so hopefully it won't look too bad. But sometimes it does look bad, and when it transpires onto YouTube, it kind of looks a bit blurry. But it's just me talking, so it's not like y'all looking at verses and stuff like that. So hopefully it's just fine for this week. Another thing, like I said, in real life services, to be able to evangelize, go from church to church, tell people, this is what we do. We're online. For people that can't make it to church, are still like want something more, or maybe not comfortable of going, in person and maybe just online. So that's another thing. Our fourth thing is house parties and groups. We want to be able to have people over saying like, hey, I have this cool dude that I love to listen to. Let's put him up on a big TV screen, my beautiful 52-inch plasma screen TV with all of its excellent colors and its Blu-ray high def. We get to watch my boy on that screen. I don't know if anybody will say that, but and be able to fight them in, saying like, "Hey, I'm also making food. We'll have chili or something." Even though I just had chili, so that's another thing that we're looking forward to this year. Generosity to keep on practicing, to keep on being contributors. To be able to help one out. And then lastly is day to day ministry, being able to still be godly examples. That is what we're still looking forward to ahead into this future of this ministry and beyond. Because I feel like this would help this ministry, and I'm so glad that God speaks to me in amazing ways to be able to accomplish His goals for His kingdoms. You know, like I said, we're still going for this. This is still our vision. I went over that and I looked over the ways that we can accomplish this mission. I went over all that late last year, before this year has even started. Now I'm in the green circle. Can you be steady and not random? I don't know. It was okay with 720p with Phasmophobia, but with the service, it's like. But yeah, this hopefully this will look forward to what we have and what we have in store for to really celebrate. The reason that I have went over the good, the bad, the ugly, the past, the present, and the future for this online ministry is to celebrate. To celebrate that we are still here. 3 years. I don't remember when I started this. I really don't. I know I started this in 2019. And 2019 is when this ministry started to become. So I don't remember the day and time, but I want to make it right here on this special occasion, celebrating 3 years that we are still going and that we're still kicking and that we're still here doing this for God, for His kingdom according to His will, to be able to still reach out for gamers. And I'm still am blessed. Like I said, I will forever miss the people that I met. But I'm thankful for the new people that's coming in and stepping in, being able to come to these events. It's green and red, dude. It keeps bothering me. But without internet issues, I see you, OBS. Without internet issues, um, we are gonna go into the celebration time tonight within our Discord server. We're gonna be celebrating, saying like, yeah, we're still going, and that it doesn't stop here. It even says in the Bible, don't dwell on the past. Don't look behind you. Look at what I have over here. Look at the new things that I'm springing up. It says that when Moses passed them to the Red Sea, that was a good thing that just happened to them. They got away from the Egyptians. They got away from them. And God said, don't dwell on that. And that was a happy thing. That was a very happy thing, a happy moment in the Israelites' lives. And he said, look, I have new things. And that is what we're still going to be continuing with this online ministry. Whether the internet wants to be stable or not, we're still doing this for God's will, for His kingdom. In that we're still going to continue forward. We're still going to reach gamers. We're still going to bring new people. We're not stopping here. Just because we're celebrating tonight doesn't mean we're stopping here. We're still going. We are to be able to claim victory in His name. Being able to claim it. Be able to say, devil, get the frick off my internet and let it be stable. You know? I'm just saying. Or if you can be on staff, if you have stable internet and not random internet whenever it feels like it. Because sometimes, like I said, I feel like every service I do, no matter what day, it just feels like the internet just wants to and just doesn't want to do anything. Phasmophobia, it does good. No internet issues, but here it's like the devil doesn't want to listen in. But guess what? We still have that option for people that came in Discord. So thank you for everyone that came in for Discord. But with that, all that out of the way, that is pretty much it. What I have to say. I know this has been long. I just wanted to go over for people that has been new to the ministry and want to know kind of a bit in depth about the ministry of what we're doing here. So I do hope that this entertain you or educate you of what we're doing here and maybe want to come in because tonight we're probably going to be playing some jackpots. And maybe doing some pole mine. I've been a little bit addicted to pole mine. I'm not going to lie. I know AMD Streaming is here and he'll say, Hylian is. He will be shaking his head going, yep, Hylian's right there. Yep. You know what we did yesterday? Oh, pole mine. So I'm pretty sure he probably doesn't look like Puma tonight since we did that yesterday. But you know, but we're just gonna chill, relax, play some games. enjoy each other's company, and just celebrate. For 3 years for this online ministry, and things to keep on going forward with this ministry. No matter what people have said to me, call me false prophet, all these names, despite the internet, we're still going to be doing this. And since we didn't get any prayer requests, I'm going to go ahead and pray us out. Um, Holy gracious Father, Lord, I come to your throne, Lord. Lord, we are excited to see what you have going on in this online ministry. And we cannot wait to see what you have in store. A summer game con in person where all of us can be in person playing games and all that stuff, teaching your word, being able to enjoy that fellowship. That sounds so awesome, amazing, probably to some of us that are listening in. So hopefully you'll be able to do stuff. And that you don't end the ministry here, as you still have more in depth plans for this online ministry. And we're so thankful to be able to hear you, even though this wasn't a proper sermon. But we're still excited to hear the things that you have done and still doing within this online ministry. And we simply just cannot wait what you have in store, not just for this year, but for beyond. For what you have for us in 2023, 2024. The list can go on and on. Cannot wait for that, Lord. For the people that we'll be able to meet and see, so that we'll be able to reach other gamers. And hopefully we can still can. Might not be able to go to Africa. We might not be able to go to Japan. But hey, we'll jump into Minecraft. Hey, we'll jump into the Phasmophobia lands. Being able to meet gamers where they're at, just as you did. So help us, for anyone that's been part of this ministry and wants to take part of this ministry, to be able to accomplish and to complete your goals for this ministry, to complete your mission. And hopefully people can take it to their hearts. Be able to see that this ministry is still strong, still courageous, still persistent, despite of internet issues, that I still streamed it, and that we're still going and kicking. I do always whole gracious name. Amen. Amen. Thank you for everyone that showed up. I don't know how much you listened in because of the internet. Until now, I don't know what happened. But until now, it's gonna go in red. No, but yes, for if you accepted Christ for the first time, we want to be able to congratulate you and go on that journey with you. You might ask, what is baptism? What does it mean to be baptized? What book of the Bible should I read? What denomination of church should I go to? Who is God? What is the Holy Spirit? If you have questions like that, we would love to help you out and help you on this journey. Fill out this form as much information if you want to be going on this path to God. If you really want to be part of His kingdom, on His winning team. You don't want to be on the devil's losing team. I lost in Phasmophobia. I died. You don't want to die in video games. You don't want to lose. You want to win. You want to be able to say, I kicked that ghost's butt. You know? I'm just saying. So, yeah, fill out that form with as much information if you're comfortable with it. Also, if you want to donate, financially support this ministry to maybe have in its own building, it would go towards the ministry, not to me. I don't care about money. I still haven't made money, and I don't care to make money. It's not my full intention. It would be nice, but that's not my full intention. And neither is God's full intention. But if you want to donate and support this, just DM me, whisper me your PayPal, and then I will DM me, whisper me, and I will get you my PayPal information, and then we'll get that set up if you would like to donate. Um, with that, all of that out of the way, we are going to be celebrating in the server. So we might be playing Jackbox. You might be missing out on Jackbox. Ooh, you might be missing out on Jackbox. If you want to come in the Discord server, there it is. There it is. Take your shot. Take your moment. Take it. You want to come in. You want to come in this Discord server. You want to come into it. So, we'll be celebrating probably playing some Jackbox. But hopefully you're able to listen despite of the internet. I don't know how bad it's going to continue throughout the night, but I don't care. I was watching YouTube just fine earlier, but while I was eating. But sometimes it just want to be good. Sometimes it's just random. For some of y'all that may not have. But anyway, I hope to see you guys and girls in the Discord. Take care, stay lit. We'll be back here tomorrow for a weekly reunify. Probably doing Phasmo rounds. Probably, maybe, or I might actually play something different for once. You can always suggest a game. Series 1 suggested a game, Portal 2, so we might do that tomorrow. So, I don't know, but we'll just see when we get there. But hopefully, I'll see you guys and girls tonight. Take care, stay lit, be awesome, and I'll see you guys and girls in the Discord server.